I want you to protect yourself at all times, obey my commands at all times. Fight hard but fight clean. If you want to touch gloves, touch them now. Good luck. Champion against champion. Here we go.
Hello and welcome to the First Strike Podcast. I'm Christian.
I'm Jesse.
I'm Lou.
I'm Vasily.
I'm Chris, baby. This is just going to be a fun bonus segment. This is our third time recording today alone. And
We're
it's
just in the moment right now.
Yeah, we just finished recording episode 7, which involved a segment called Red Corner, Blue Corner.
The debates.
And we had Jesse and Chris compete in it. And I think it's going to be time for me to compete and Louie to compete. Because I just watching you guys fight, debate, whatever you want to call it. I was hyped up. I was a judge, and I'm not going to lie, I was cutting on Jesse.
Yeah,
well deserved. But so I think it's time for me to get my due.
All right, so let me explain the rules, because I'll be the narrator or the mediator in this debate.
I'll just join in with Chris says.
They're both the judges.
So essentially, picture it like a UFC fight. There's 5 rounds per round, and at the end, the judges will score. We will give our feedback. We might variate depending on how that goes, but 5 rounds. Like similarly to say if the score is tight enough, we might go to an extra round, 4 and 5, or we might just go 5 rounds just in case, because we got a few of these fun questions ready to throw out. So, are both fighters? You guys both understand the rules of this engagement?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, you're gonna touch gloves.
Yeah, me and him touch gloves, so
Fuck
you better
that.
do it.
Yeah.
Oh no! Touch it.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Did you make weight? Did Chris make weight?
I don't make weight.
Oh, fuck.
I come way overweight.
Yes, come way under.
That's a funny fight.
So this is a catch rate?
Big time.
Yeah.
Alright,
Catch
cool.
weight.
Jesse, you started
Okay.
off.
First question to start it off is, and like how we did it last time, whoever answers first.
Scorecards.
Yeah. I have it already. Best fighter in the UFC as of right now.
Can we say John Jones?
Yeah.
Of course, which
Yeah.
one?
If
they're part of the UFC
Yeah, he's
roster,
part of the UFC
regardless if
officially.
they're inactive or active.
Or injuries.
Speak.
Yeah.
I would say John Jones.
So, Lou?
I'm going to go with, just because I live with Christian all the time, I'm going to say Dominic Cruz.
Okay.
Alright.
Christian, go first.
I think John Jones is the best fighter in the UFC because he still hasn't really had an official loss. That's first of all. DC is currently holding basically an interim belt, and he's basically holding it. He's a gatekeeper because John Jones is going to dominate him when he comes back. John Jones' biggest losses have been to USADA, and as far as that goes, and I think Dominic Cruz, although he's the champion right now, he just came back, and also he hasn't proved himself as much as John Jones had. John Jones held the belt for years. He's had I don't know what's the official stat, but he's getting up there in reigns. He's probably gonna since he lost it, I might never interrupt it. But if he never lost the belt to begin with, he probably would have beat Anderson's streak of reigns, which DJ is gonna beat now. But I think John Jones is the more dominant fighter. John Jones, he ended the division is nothing because of him. He literally made people move up, move down weights. It's just the power of John Jones, and there was a point where UFC was really stagnant, and John Jones helped it bring it back together. So that's my point.
All right, that's his minute.
All right, he said John Jones. Well, which his biggest loss is to USADA, which Dominic Cruz does not have a loss to them as of yet. And Dominic Cruz, I believe, has 1 loss. And that loss can basically be taken off because he beat Uriah twice already now. Mm-hmm. And he did have 4 years off and came back and won a fight against, I'm not familiar with the guy's name, but he did win the championship back from TJ Dillashaw, which was a big time champion when he won, and he beat Uriah again. He defended it belt already, and he does have a victory over the so-called pound for pound number 1, Demetrius Johnson, which Dominic Cruz should be number 1 because he beat him, and it was a pretty easy fight from what I seen.
John Jones, when he was in UFC fighting actively, he was number 1 pound for pound fighter. Dominic Cruz never had that honor. John Jones is just he's more dominant. Not that he's more dominant. Well, one, he defended his belt multiple times. Dominic Cruz has yet to defend his belt any times, and I will keep saying DC. So I'm not saying Cormier, but yeah,
Dominic defended his title against Uriah Faber just recently in June.
Oh, I completely forgot about it. But
Keep going,
to be fair, it was a Uriah Faber, and that's probably why I forgot about it. Because that's why he's retiring now. He's really got a name, and that's what it is. I mean, let's be real. When John Jones defended his title against the best people in light heavyweight, we haven't seen DC go as far as John Jones yet. And the question is right now, and as far as I'm saying, this is all right now. We've seen what John Jones could do, and when he comes back, he's just grabbing the title straight back from Cormier like it never happened.
I'm not sure, but Dominic Cruz did have the belt before he got injured, so he has won it multiple times.
When did he get the belt to begin with?
I'm not sure, but
I believe 2011, 2012.
He did.
Yeah, he had one of those.
And when did John Jones
Yeah.
first get his belt? It had to be around the same time, and one person kept the belt the whole way through. I mean, only slipped.
Injuries are unfortunate.
But yeah, John Jones, when he suffers injuries, he keeps fighting. He doesn't stop, and that never really stopped him from anything. His biggest thing that stopped him was USADA, and that's just what it is.
I guess they're even now because USADA stopped John and ACL stopped Dominic.
But I don't know. One was physical, and I just think John Jones had the better career so far, and he's the better fighter right now. He held that number 1 pound for pound spot. He held it down for UFC when there was a time nobody was holding it down. There was no Ronda Rousey. There was no Conor McGregor. It was a crappy heavyweight division. It was GSP, but GSP was facing his off years. It was when he was going at only Johnny Hendricks, and I just think John Jones has the more title defenses. He has the more. He just proved himself more than DC has, and that's just what I think.
Okay, you got a minute left, Lou.
Do we need it? Do we need it? Or
I feel like there's nothing else to say.
Yeah,
Dominic
I feel like
Cruz,
I'm good.
I feel like the win over Demetrius and his multiple championships and he's really hard to figure out. No one has cracked him yet because he did lose once, but that was on the come up. He was a young
nobody has
upstart.
cracked John Jones. He didn't even have that one loss. What you're going to consider Matt Hamill.
That's not a
then
loss.
when I saw that fight to begin with, and when I saw, because I seen the whole fight live while he was coming up, and I was like, wow, this guy got potential. This guy's going to be a star. And my eyes didn't lie to me because he completely was. So that's and also I could say this too, as a casual fan that I am, I didn't hear of DC's name until this year coming back, and it was because Christian being an avid fan. John Jones, as a casual fan, I knew, and I think the world knows. A lot of people know who John Jones is. We're now to the point where now people know DC, but it's not as big as John Jones.
Okay, that'll wrap that up.
You guys aren't giving your scores now, by the way.
No.
Oh, you don't want to do that? But
Do you
we can
want-
give criticism.
Yes.
And we
Yeah.
don't
Lou, I believe if you would have said that that the 135-pound division is a hell of a lot tougher than the light heavyweight division, I would
That's
give you
so
another
true.
point. Anything
I
else,
was
Chris,
thinking
you want
that
to-
It
too.
would have been absolutely wonderful if you brought up John's deficiencies, brought up his drugs, brought up his abuse outside of work, brought up the fact that he almost killed a pregnant woman. If you brought up those deficiencies and emphasized how...
That's to say that he was out before that.
The fact that he's
Tests.
lucky to even be in the contract with UFC.
Damn, I messed up there.
Yeah.
And
That's a
also,
big
you could have mentioned his
discussion.
Nike sponsorship during a time where Nike wasn't really known to be sponsoring athletes, especially in MMA. He was the first Nike sponsorship in UFC
John Jones?
history.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal. I thought when I first saw it, he was wearing the
See,
logo.
I didn't even know that, to be honest.
What is it now? It's like Spalding.
Oh God.
That shit dropped off.
Yeah, I mean Nike jumped out quick once he had that issue.
Okay. All right, Chris, you have the next question?
Yes. Oh, this one's fun. This one's very recent. It is I love it. Is Anthony Pettis a Bellator or UFC caliber fighter?
Bellator.
UFC.
Lou got it.
You gotta argue first, though, bro.
Those performances, it's just, geez, he's lost like 4 fights out of 5, I believe, recently. If I might have made a correct check there, but geez, he's looked terrible in each loss he's had, and the win he had, geez, that was barely. He's like, I feel like Bellator is like, look at Benson Henderson, another former champion. He's struggling over there, and I feel like it's this thing that's gonna happen. It has to happen.
See, I see him still ranked in the division as number 5, and to me, that's not a Bellator fighter. if he's still that high ranked, and he was just in a championship fight. I know he lost a lot, like he not like literally and physically, but like he lost a lot of steam, and he lost a lot of what made him Anthony Pettis. The sport almost outgrew him, but he's still contending. He still just had a shot. He just still had a title shot with Max Holloway. He's maybe just now turned into a gatekeeper, but that doesn't make you a Bellator fighter. A lot of the people in that division cannot beat him. And that's saying something. And even this fight, he did break his hand to give him something. He did give up early, but he broke his hand. He had a disadvantage. But just because you're losing to great fighters doesn't make you a Bellator fighter. You know what I mean? Like, it's just he can't take over the division like he used to, but if he's still in the top 5 of your division, that still brings you something. If anybody else is top 5 in, especially a division like that where it's kind of stacked, let's be real. Let's take a top 5 fighter in welterweight's a terrible division. That would be a terrible example. But a top 5 fighter in bantamweight or something like that, and it's just they're all good caliber fighters. And it's the same thing with Anthony Pettis. You can't say a guy who just had a title shot is completely not a UFC fighter. You know what I mean? He's not going to be a Bellator fighter when you just face one of the top talents in UFC. You know what I mean? And if he would have won the belt, we would have said he's still a Bellator fighter. No, one fight doesn't determine who you are. If he would have won the belt, he would have been a UFC fighter, and he would have been a fucking UFC champion. So that's my argument for that.
Lou, counter.
Even if he did win that fight, he wasn't winning any championship because he came in overweight, which he wasn't going to win anything. Gives up 20% of his money and no belt for him. And he says now he's running back to the 155 division, which he ran away from, which makes no sense.
But still, the fact that he maybe he didn't earn it, but he was still given a title shot, that proved that you're still something, and you still got a name value.
Undeserving championship.
Yeah, Connor's an undeserving champion. It happens in the UFC. It's all. That's
a different argument.
But Anthony Pettis still holds weight, and that's just because he lost. And yeah, he didn't make weight. He was off by 3 pounds, which I think is crazy that you can't make 3 pounds as a professional fighter. But I think he really could have. To me, it's unprofessional. But he really could have made weight.
Lousy.
And just him being lazy doesn't make him a Bellator talent, because he's still holding his own in the UFC, and he's still going against the best. I forgot who he beat at the moment to bring his name back up, but the losses he did take was to Edson Barbosa. It was Frankie Edgar? It was to Edson Barbosa. It was.
Oh fuck!
Damn. See, this is why I'm a casual fan. I'm a casual fan, and I can't go on my laptop or anything.
Damn.
So I know for sure Edson Barbosa. If I could say other names, I want to say Frankie Edgar and Aldo, but I'm not too sure about that. So I'm not gonna throw that in the ring. Damn. See.
No. Well, Benson Henderson was a champion in UFC. Same division, lightweight, which Anthony Pettis beat him. And he's in Bellator now, and he's looking pretty on and off. Can't really...
Who are you talking about?
Benson Henderson, a similar fighter to Anthony Pettis.
Yeah.
And I feel like...
Continue.
I feel like that's the same kind of thing.
And I just don't see him as a Benson Henderson, because Benson Henderson completely fell off the face of the world. And
I feel like Anthony's on his way there.
But Anthony's still top 5 in his own division after taking a loss.
Over a win over Charles Oliveira, like, he's not even a great fighter. Top 10 maybe. I think he was ranked 6. I'm not sure.
I agree.
We have 45 seconds.
I said what I needed to say.
I feel like Anthony's on the way out. His heart is not in the game anymore. He quits. He quit in his last fight. I believe he almost quit in the other ones, and if it wasn't for him getting that choke, he probably would have lost that fight too.
He did quit, but if he would have just made weight and he had a chance to be a champion, and we wouldn't have.
It's a title fight. You should come out your best.
Yeah, but we wouldn't call a champion a Bellator fighter. That's what I'm saying. And he had the chance to be a champion.
Henderson's a former champ.
Yeah, but he didn't get a shot. He didn't have a shot going out of the UFC. This guy had. So it's a little different the way it is now. But
Okay, is that it?
No.
That's it.
Okay.
Nah, I understand my lack of knowledge.
Okay, I'll go
Who
first.
did he fight, please?
Okay.
It's because I remember reading the list not too long ago. And
Eddie Alvarez.
Eddie Alvarez.
Rafael Dos Anjos,
Yo, I was
and
gonna
Anderson Barbosa.
If you want to be part of the show, get your shit together.
I'm still a casual fan, and I'm learning. So.
What else here? I'm trying to remember.
I usually just host it.
Benson Henderson fell off the face of the earth. He just fight Michael Chandler for the belt, lightweight belt.
Wait, what's going on here?
No, I'm saying
he fought 2 title fights and
I
lost.
meant in the UFC.
Yeah.
He felt he lost it.
Oh, okay. Chris?
I feel like when you're arguing, you have to argue with not. Oh, I feel like this. I feel you can't argue with subjective feelings. You have to be objective mostly. I understand when I was arguing with Jesse, I use some of my subjective analysis, but you have to base it off of objectivity, and you have to base it like numbers are really important. Yeah, I feel like you could have told him that the championship wasn't authentic. I mean, you realize it's just an interim championship, so that diminishes the quality of what they were fighting for. And Christian's giving you numbers like he's ranked at number 5, currently contending. But he did damage the credibility a little bit. Yeah, with the Jose Aldo. And he
did fight Jose Aldo, though.
Never.
Different weight.
Never did. You did diminish your credibility there. And Louis, you forgot to mention that, was it Benson Henderson? Credit to him. He came off, you said he was nothing coming into Bellator, but he came off victory over Jorge Masvidal before he went to Bellator. So there's another thing.
See, that's
I didn't know his record.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It's okay.
I don't even like Pettis. I just had to argue.
Don't worry, the questions are gonna get better. They're gonna be more appealing.
Nah, they're good questions.
I
can't argue with like you guys.
I didn't even want to argue it. So Louis just said it
knowledge are probably.
So to be fair,
I would have tapped out if I had to say UFC.
All right. Next question number 3. Round 3 here. Worst fighter ever to compete in the UFC.
Kimbo Slice.
CM Punk.
Okay, Christian, go first.
Kimbo Slice is the worst fighter because CM Punk had no fighting experience at all. He had a wrestling, like literally WWE wrestling experience. Kimbo Slice had street fight videos where he was just knocking people out. So people thought when he came into the ring, I'm Octagon. I'm so used to CM Punk.
He fought in the ring too.
He should stay in the ring. But when he came into the Octagon, that he wasn't what we saw in videos. We were like, damn, you telling me you could fight bums on the street and knock them out clean, but you can't really do this in the Octagon? That makes you nothing. And I'm sorry because I feel bad because he's unfortunately passed. But CM Punk, we didn't have expectations for him. Why would we have expectations for him? He wasn't a Brock Lesnar who came in with a real wrestling experience and real fighting experience. And Brock Lesnar is a big dude in a crappy division. CM Punk came in a good division, first of all. And why anybody have expectations for him to begin with? Because he got injured a bunch of times. He kept getting delayed. It was questioned if they even wanted the fight, first of all. Kimbo Slice was a draw. I mean, so was CM Punk. But Kimbo Slice, we actually thought he was going to be good. And he lost his first fight. And it was even an Ultimate Fighter. So you losing your fight to basically bums that you fought on the street. It's just bums in the UFC Octagon now that have more fighting experience than you, and I think that really hurt him. So when I say worst fighter, I think of just wasted potential, man. I didn't see the fight with Dada 5000 or 500, whatever the hell his name is.
Also one of the worst fights ever.
Which is saying something. The reason I know that fight is because of how bad it gets, and that's not a good thing.
Okay, Lou?
Well, to credit Skimbo, he did win a couple fights in the UFC, which I see CM Punk never doing. Because he has no... It's basically like a guy off the street coming to fight. Like, what are you doing here? And CM Punk did train with Tyron Woodley and Anthony Pettis, 2 champions and former champions, which you should have some knowledge of the game, which when Mickey Gall went for a takedown, it could have been easily avoided from what I hear all the time if he would have put the right position. And CM Punk, I feel like he's just a bigger name because he came from WWE, and WWE's huge.
We didn't see what CM Punk could do. We saw him for 2 seconds, and it was fault to his bad ground game. But we seen what Kimbo Slice could do, and it's not good. We haven't seen the best of CM Punk. We've seen the best of Kimbo Slice, and it's still not.
There.
Yeah, he might be done at his season, and it was just a hobby for him. I won't even consider him a fighter, but still, literally, he didn't get a chance to stand, and that's what he wanted to do. He didn't come in with the game plan of wanting to go on the ground. He wanted to stand with the guy, and he actually attempted to stand, but it just wouldn't happen. And that's
2 minutes. 2 minutes left.
That's sorry, but that's a credit to just we seen the best of Kimbo Slice, and it wasn't good. We haven't seen the best of CM Punk, and nobody had an expectation for CM Punk to win a championship. He came in at 37 years old already.
UFC was pretty hyping him up to make it seem like he was a big thing. And I'm sure
game.
He did bring WWE fans, which I said are huge. What is it, #1 YouTube channel or something?
But even as a WWE, I'm one of the biggest WWE fans you would ever meet, and I was like, yo, I hope CM Punk loses so he could come back to WWE. I didn't want him to be in an MMA octagon.
He don't belong there. Kimbo at least proved that maybe he could fight in there.
Yeah, but CM Punk also, I'm trying to reword it.
Minute left.
All right, Kimbo came from the fighting experience, and he couldn't bring it into UFC. He came as the worst UFC fighter. He was in the Drake and Josh movie, which I remember that.
Oh boy,
and
what? There's a movie?
Yeah, he was in the Drake and Josh movie, and he defeated the cell that he was locked in before he defeated a UFC opponent. CM Punk, I didn't have any expectations
he
for him.
defeated Brock Lesnar, John Cena. Those big wins, right?
And also, Kimbo Slice came in and fought like CM Punk had a credible talent who is going to come up in the ranks. We haven't seen him against the scrubs that we've seen Kimbo Slice face. And especially in the heavyweight division, where it's a terrible division.
Kimbo at least knows how to fight. CM Punk, I feel like he doesn't.
You can end it there.
How many left?
Time.
Is it time? Yeah.
Time, yeah.
I think this was the best round.
Yeah, it was very, very good round.
Hey, that's good to hear.
Yeah, I think it was definitely the best round. Good points you brought up where it won CM Punk. Kimbo, I like how you reversed the role because you understood that Kimbo's expectations.
Yeah, I did like that.
Than what CM
It's hard.
You had me-
It's
you
hard
had
to
me
argue a
there,
guy
like,
who never
oh,
fought before. You know what I mean?
He had more potential.
You mentioned his training. Very good. Very good training with obviously two of the best.
Two champions.
Whoa, I'm not going to hype
Anthony
AP
Pettis, not anymore.
Yeah.
But
Still,
Tyron
is-
Northcutt was there. You know.
Oh,
understand.
I didn't know that.
You mentioned the name, wasted potential, as you said before. He's you've seen his best performance because he passed. You taking advantage of a dead man there?
That was a
CM
good
Punk's
argument.
career is dead already. I was surprised if he ever fights in the UFC.
He's never gonna fight in the UFC again.
Okay.
Chris,
That's
you're
3 rounds in the book. Now
last two.
let's have
You
some
down for
fun.
the other two, right?
Yeah, I'm good. I feel good.
I love this.
Championship rounds.
Championship rounds.
It's a close fight.
It really is. I feel it.
Now, would you want the fantasy question now or later?
Let's end at last.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, this one's difficult. Is the UFC Reebok deal good or bad for the sport?
Bad.
Good, I guess.
Well, of course.
Yeah, I gotta go
didn't
good.
get that.
All right, Chris.
See, I got
Okay,
that.
I think I can fight this
All right,
one.
get the timer ready.
Okay,
Can
go.
I'm just take a sip of my Powerade real quick. Sorry.
It's okay.
I finished my water.
I work for Adidas, and our partner company is Reebok. All right, so I know that Reebok gets no sales, and it's not helping that UFC is there anyways. Reebok is one of the lowest selling in our. It's an outlet for those who are listening at home, but it's an outlet, and they make one of the lowest sellings, and they have the biggest store. And this Reebok UFC deal is not helping. I see them having Reebok on their shirt, and I just still think of Tap Out. It looks the same. It is the same. It is the same. Let's be real. It's honestly the same level of pedigree nowadays.
Doesn't Tap Out with WWE, boys.
WWE has Tap Out now, and it looks better on them than the Reebok deal does for UFC. It doesn't give them any credibility. Like as a big sport as it's becoming, I think they need to get rid of the Reebok deal. And I'm not saying get an Adidas deal, but how much more would these fighters look official if they had a Nike check on them, even if they had an Adidas logo on them? And even Under Armour would be more credible than Reebok. Just the Reebok doesn't look right for them, and that's Reebok's lane. And I get to know them more advantage because I work for Adidas, but they don't make enough money, and so how you got a company backing you that isn't even doing well themselves? You know what I mean?
Okay, Lou.
Let's say what it is. Sometimes when they show old UFC fights and they see all these sponsorships, whatever, Jim's lawnmower company, Condom Depot, it don't look official. It don't look nice. But when you see Reebok, it has like it's nice. It's not as crowded as the old uniforms were. I feel it's nice and smooth. Now they introduce new colors.
Yeah, but back then you had to work for your sponsorships, where now you're given it, which is kind of unfair. And also it's better than back then, but that doesn't mean it's good for them. Just because something is better doesn't make it the best. And you want the best for an up and coming sport. You want the top notch, and especially a sport like UFC who is drawing as much as they're drawing. They have Conor McGregor who I think I want to say he's the biggest athlete right now. Like, he's up there with LeBron James, I would say. He's on talk shows. He's doing this. He's doing that. 10 million followers on Instagram. I don't know his exact amount. I'm just, exaggerating. But he's crazy right now. He's huge. And you're going to have the biggest fighter, you're going to have the biggest stars, and you're not going to have
What's
the
to say
biggest
Reebok
deal.
can't get bigger from UFC? Or did no one else want to
Because it
join
hasn't.
the UFC?
It hasn't. I never seen
And
somebody.
Reebok's the only one that was smart enough to join them?
Jesse's wearing a Reebok shirt right now because it has Conor McGregor on it, and it's kind of insulting. Adidas could have done way better. And also the logo itself, I'm being legit. The logo, we have
The Predator eye.
Yeah. Our first podcast that we started is called the Triangle Podcast, and they have a triangle. And our triangle that was designed by our
octagon.
graphic designer Christian looks way better.
Thanks,
that doesn't look right
trying to suck
on
up
any.
to his judge.
That doesn't look right on anything. That doesn't look right on anything. I don't like the logo. I think that's a worse logo than Under Armour. I think it's a worse logo than Puma. I think it's a worse logo than Adidas. Like,
Why are we talking about logos? Compared to the uniforms they used to wear were horrendous. I can't
You already
even
said the point though. You can only argue the same point so many times. I just feel that Reebok is hindering UFC because imagine how official these guys would look if they had real official gear.
But Reebok is official.
It's not as official as all these other sports gears. You think NBA is sponsored by Adidas, which they're losing that and they're going to hockey. I don't know why. But hockey, I think they were sponsored by...
I believe Reebok.
Yeah, they're sponsored by Reebok, and guess what? They're dishing their deal and giving it to Adidas. So that's saying something. I've made my case.
Minute left.
I got nothing else to say.
Okay.
This dude works at Adidas
Do
and
you wanna,
brought up that killed me.
review what they said first?
Yeah, sure. I like that you use your personal experience with the argument.
Yeah, me too.
Lou, you should intrude. You know,
He introduced my second point. I didn't.
That's allowed. You remember that? Me and Jesse.
Yeah,
did
you
that
can
a
interrupt.
little bit.
No, but that was my first time speaking about it.
Well, we have to establish if it's.
Yeah. No, you can, for sure.
Yeah. for
After
sure.
I didn't go. That was my first time when you interviewed.
Your case was kind of falling, so I just...
Yeah, I had nothing after that. Adidas working with Reebok and all that. I was cooked. I don't know that inside information.
Yeah, but I would feel more quality when it comes to your argument in regards to you say, oh, I know, I work there, I know what the quality of the sales are. I feel like that's too anecdotal rather than fact worthy because, it could be bullshit what you're saying,
But no, but everything I did say was true. They do have a big store, and we dominate them in sales.
All right. Last question.
Final round. Now this one's for fun. Let's have some fun.
Let's go.
All right.
Yeah.
So who wins in the trilogy match? Apollo Creed versus Rocky Balboa.
Apollo Creed.
Oh.
Rocky Balboa.
Okay. Go.
All right. I as a person who watched the first movie and first movie only, Apollo didn't even work hard for that fight, and he gave him the biggest competition of his life. And Rocky Balboa, he held his own, but holding your own isn't good enough, especially against a professional. And Apollo Creed, he gave birth to great Adonis Creed. And I think Adonis Creed could damn near work Rocky if they were in the same weight class. I think
Who trained Adonis?
Rocky is only so good because of his story, and that's that underdog kept up. All right, but you're not keeping up. You want to win, and Apollo will win, and he just so happened to die. That's not his fault. Shit happens. He died. R.I.P. But he would have beat Rocky, and didn't. Adonis say in the street in Creed that what happened in the third underground fight? Who won? What did Rocky say? Apollo.
Okay, Lou.
Speaking of Apollo, rest in peace. Rocky did beat the Russian. I can't remember his name right
I
now.
don't remember.
And
Drago.
Ivan Drago, yes, he
yeah.
did beat him. And Rocky did beat him for the championship the second time. And Rocky has gone on to fight many fights, defend it, lose his belt, win it back, which I don't believe Apollo has done.
Because he died.
Shouldn't have been fighting him. You knew the risk. He was juicing.
All right, one of the reasons Rocky
Oh boy.
One of the reasons Rocky had a chance to beat Drago is because he had the drive behind him that Apollo died. A lot of it was built up emotion.
Drago!
So that helps. That helps a lot in a fight. If it was vice versa, I would think Apollo would win too. You know, you got something to fight for.
Did you not see his training in the cold winter in the cabin? He was going off.
He also trained really hard for the first fight, and Apollo still beat him.
Barely.
He still beat him though. A win is a win. McGregor barely beat Diaz.
Who won the fight?
McGregor barely beat Diaz, and he beat him.
Rocky was remembered after that. Listen, Rocky fought when he was like 78 years old.
And
Put up a good fight.
And the reason Rocky was remembered is because he fought a great Apollo Creed. But yeah, once again, he had the weight of somebody's death on your shoulders. Of course you're going to do better. Of course you're going to have so much emotion
where did Rocky come from when that first fight? He was off the street and he put up a great fight against him.
But that doesn't matter where you came from.
Apollo.
It's how you fight in the ring. That doesn't have to do where you came from. It doesn't have to do anything. It's who would win this fight. And the third fight already happened as far as I'm concerned. And Rocky admitted
maybe
that
Rocky was being
Apollo
generous because he don't want to dishonor the legacy of Apollo Creed.
Or maybe he's just telling the truth and he knows. It could be either or.
I don't know. Have to ask him.
2 minutes left.
Are you?
Okay. Oh, you're drunk? Okay. All right.
I don't know my Rocky
I'm gonna
movies.
compile my score.
No.
Overall.
You guys can't use any of
seen,
it. I barely seen the first Rocky. I
rarely watch the movies again.
I saw the first one once and I was dozing off because it's not.
The first one is really good. I've probably seen that one twice, most likely.
Rocky 4 was my favorite.
I'm so lucky I remember.
Rocky 4 is hilarious.
I'm so lucky I remembered the fact that Rocky did say. I mean, if it's close, we can go into a team.
He did say that, right?
Yeah.
I only seen that movie once. I gotta watch it again. Adonis Creed, but who trained him?
His father would have if he was alive.
Rocky Balboa trained him, and guess what? He still lost.
Spoilers. I should have said that. Damn. When you said who trained him, I didn't know what you were talking about. To be honest, I didn't hear your.
Oh shit! He is serious.
Okay, I have my score. Okay. Chris, you good?
Right. Overall, good point with mentioning that basically Rocky beat the man who killed Apollo Creed.
And didn't die. He didn't die.
And the training of Adonis is a good point as well. And then Rocky winning the sequel, but then also mentioning that in Creed, he won, or according to Rocky. But then you immediately diminishing that by saying he could have said that for the legacy. That was good.
That's true.
Overall score, 49-48.
Hey.
What do you have? I'm not going to say who.
I have it.
What's the score? Don't say who, just simply say the numbers. Oh, you didn't do the math?
No, I do. I did. It's just really tough. I have it the same. 49-48.
Is it a split decision?
Well, I'm gonna say who I thought won. And in my opinion, as a judge, the winner is, in my opinion, Christian.
Yeah.
Edging it up.
Alright.
Is
You
that
got
correct?
it too?
Yeah.
Alright, unanimous decision.
Which ones did I win?
You won the first round.
Well, I thought his with Rocky. I thought that his best point was the Russian victory there.
You won the first round.
First round was which one?
The best UFC fighter as of right now.
Okay.
I know you definitely won the Reebok one. I couldn't argue
the
that
second
one.
and third round I gave to Lou.
Hey.
Which one?
CM Punk. I like that.
CM Punk.
Oh, CM
That was hard to argue because how are you gonna? He's not a fighter. I said that all.
That's what makes him the worst.
Yeah.
What was your first question?
My first AP Anthony Pettis.
Oh yeah.
And
I gave that to him as well.
I wanted to argue.
And then
I gave that to you just because, although I might agree with you, you're not saying enough.
Yeah, I didn't know the knowledge there.
The last two.
It's my lack of knowledge comes in there.
What the fuck? You listen to? Okay. Anyway,
lack of knowledge on Anthony Pettis' before career.
That's gonna be a little bonus segment I'm gonna get out for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
That was tight.
I love the scorecard. I love this whole thing.
You must have felt like the suspense.
Yeah,
It was like,
it was real suspense. I honestly thought Christian was gonna go Lou, you were gonna go me.
Yeah.
No, I'm not biased.
No. Just,
I lost that.
Just because I heard the
points.
points afterwards, and I was like, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I just base it off of what facts you present, or numbers in that case, which usually correspond with it. Such as if you try to argue that Tupac's still alive, as long as you bring valid points, man.
I
in
can
comparison.
completely argue that, to be honest. So much information.
Yo, me too.
I really watched. I when I was younger, I used to watch like conspiracy videos.
That's funny.
Exactly.
Because everybody likes conspiracies. Let's be
Of
real.
course. So, yeah, I mean, that's how I base my judging. So, no biasness intended.
But yeah, that's gonna be the end of this one. Just a fun little segment. I seen them argue, the debate, red corner, blue corner. That's what the segment's called. And I just had to join, and so I had to convince Louis to do it too. But 1-0. Louis 0-1. Jesse's 0-1. Christian's 1-0. I think we might have to get Jesus in the mix.
Yes, Jesus
For
versus
sure.
Jesse.
If
That'd
you
be
guys
great.
have any questions that you want us to talk about, I'm more
Inbox it.
Yeah,
Inbox
so
it.
just-
Absolutely.
yeah,
You're
sure.
the main receiver of that, right?
So I'll see it before they do. So just let me know, and I will get to it. And like if you like this segment, show your love.
Now,
Yes.
if it's based on, say, you want Christian to answer it, simply write in the box before you can even look at it. This is intended for.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
smart too.
Yeah.
If it's
I'll
intended
have,
for me or Lou or
I'll have one of the other ones open it. But yeah, thank you guys for keep listening. We will get this up probably right after episode 7. But we got a bunch of more material coming now that we're college free for the time being. We got a 1 month, and it is going to be a blast. And we're gonna just drop a whole bunch of segments on
Yes.
you guys. So look forward to it. Stay on the lookout. But
Peace.
with that being said,
Overall, it was fun. I had a good
very
job.
fun. I like
And
judging.
I'm not going to say the name this time. No, I'm going to. Vasily Lomachenko.